Hey, YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you for tuning in. When I was down at Nolan's over in Santa Ana, California, I mentioned to him my local fish store and how it had gone kind of down the tubes and how I wasn't going there anymore. But he told me that the shop had been purchased back or taken over again by the original owner and that they had started to turn things around. So let's go inside. Let's take a look. This is Monrovia Tropical Fish. Let's take a look inside and see if things are really better than they used to be. Well, the Monrovia Tropical Fish Store sign is gone. It's Daniel's Aquarium now, fresh and saltwater fish. Interesting. When you walk in, it still has a little bit of that swap meet garage sale look on the left, but there's definitely more supplies than there were before. Last time I was in here, there were a lot of old things that didn't look like they had sold in a long time, covered in dust. He's got some new inventory in here, and some of it, like this here, is actually pretty nice. Some food that's pretty fresh. Again, last time the bottles were pretty old and dust covered and just looked like stuff that nobody had ever bought over the last 10-15 years, and were just sitting on the shelves. But let's look at the fish. First thing you walk into, of course, is some freshwater fish like those barbs and these very pretty angels. Got some nice community fish here. You can see the prices are not that bad. Very nice grummies. Little rasboras back there. Very nice community fish. The water quality and the look of the fish in general is, believe it or not, 100% better than it was before. He's got a variety of geos throughout the store. You'll see him as we go along. And of course that eye-catching glowfish. Talked about them in a prior video. They definitely get your attention, that's for sure. He had a wide assortment of goldfish, and from some common ones to some of the more fancier ones like these guys here, and just a pretty broad assortment, including some that I found really interesting. $10. I don't know. I'm not into goldfish if that's a good price or not. But I thought these goldfish here were very, very pretty. Like a fancy koi. I imagine when they can get very large. And here they are in a slightly larger variety. I think these kois are really pretty, both in pattern and in shape of their bodies. Throughout the store there were a lot of guppies, and you can see these are very, very active. Apparently in very good health. I'm not seeing anyone laying around dead. These were probably my favorite goldfish. These silver ones are just really, really impressive. Very pretty. I love the long torpedo-shaped goldfish. You had a couple fish that were obviously a little bit too big for the tanks. Sometimes that's a tough dilemma that a local fish store owner gets into. Someone buys a fish and it outgrows what it's in, and they have to do something like this and just sort of hold on to the fish, and probably love the fish too much to just, euthanize him. So they had some of the Oratas, but I don't see the warning label anywhere. Little Pacus. Some very small red parrots for $11.99. Some convicts. Eventually they'll probably have to live alone. Now these tanks, even the ones that you look at and go, wait a minute, that doesn't look as clean as it could be, I'm telling you, is 1,000 times better than it was a month and a half ago when I came in here. An assortment of cichlids, including some jewels in there. Some dragon bloods, some OBs. Not bad looking. Fell in love with these little pandas, they're called. Little black and white pandas. Really cute. He had a good collection of Oscars, too. Shovel noses, gars, knife fish. Fish look in pretty good shape. These tanks were black last time, and the fish in them were not looking good. I loved his collection of tiger Oscars. If I had the tank, I would have picked one of these up. They're just very pretty, their patterns, and the red and black contrasting. Here's a much larger version of a tiger Oscar. Of course, they get huge, of course. These two were my favorite. $16.99 each. But look at the patterns on them. Absolutely gorgeous pattern. Some more geos. Roseline sharks. I mean, looking at the overall health of these fish, whereas 6 weeks to 2 months ago, I would never have bought a fish out of this store. I just wouldn't. They just didn't look good. They didn't look healthy. Now, with proper quarantine procedure, I wouldn't hesitate to pick up a fish. Each one of these tanks is a standalone unit with sponge filtration. This is a very old school shop, and he's got sponges and underground filtration in most of the tanks. Probably the same kind of system that's been running for over 20 years. But one advantage of that is it does keep each tank as a separate sort of ecosystem. So unless he's sharing nets and things of this nature back and forth, he's not cross-contaminating too much. More geos. Some good-looking fish. Look at the red belly on that one. Very nice looking. More parrots. Some more tetras, some balas. Again, I mean, are we looking at things that are absolutely 100% pristine? You could argue that they're not, but I'll tell you, this is 1,000 miles ahead of where it was before. So Daniel is really working his way back here. These koi angels, really pretty. And cardinal tetras, which you don't really see that often. And in the past, when I was in the market for them, I couldn't find them. He's got them at 3 for $9. Love to have a tank full of cardinals and a few discus. Some female guppies for 99 cents. Pretty nice selection in here with some electric blues in there. Where he really, you could see what his real first love is saltwater. The saltwater selection and the quality of the saltwater fish, in this case the living soft corals and shrimp, sea anemones and things of this nature, very good shape. Nice red starfish here. Saltwater collection before was not that good. This lionfish was very impressive. Keep my hands out of that tank. Look at the colors on these guys. Saltwater really is the king when it comes to color. I mean, there's some discus, maybe some coolie fish. There's some freshwater fish that, it might be comparable, but I mean, come on. When we look at this, you really can't compare. I mean, salt really is, when it comes to color, saltwater is the king. Of course, cichlids are considered a cousin of saltwater fish. Look at this thing. It looks like a big decoration or a sponge or something. This is actually a fish. About $200. Look at the shape of that guy. You can tell he loves his saltwater collection. And he had some very nice, very colorful, very, very beautiful fish there. Now I know if I get into salt, I got a place where I can go pick up a fish or two. Love the colors on these guys. Really nothing compares to that. Look at that electric purple back there. Sort of like a true natural glowfish. Absolutely beautiful. Probably my favorite. This guy looks like a little cowfish. So cute. Nolan was right. That place is, that's 100% improvement over what it was before. When I went in there last time, the majority of the tanks were actually either empty or in just real bad shape, with the fish just not looking good at all. And what I saw now, not just the freshwater, but you can really see the pride and the joy that this fellow Daniel, that I had the pleasure of meeting, that Daniel gets with his saltwater. His saltwater tanks were perfect, and looks like and I hope he brings he starts to bring up the freshwater tanks as well. The freshwater tanks were not that bad. They were, I thought they were in pretty good shape, and his selection is 100 times better than it was 3 months ago. So thanks for the tip, Nolan, and thank you, Daniel, for taking over that store and giving us another place for us local fish keepers to go to pick up some quality fish, because we need it around here in where I am here in Southern California. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that bell, hit notifications, and sub if you haven't already. Come by on Saturdays for the live stream, Cichlids and Coffee, and don't forget about the Facebook group, ben.o.cichlid, and Instagram, ben.o.cichlid. And okay, and that's it for me. And oh, by the way, thank you, Sam Penny. Thank you, Sam Penny, for the new banner, on the channel. Let me know what you folks think of it below in the comments. And thank you, Sam, for that. And that's all for me. Bye-bye.